Hello, everybody. This is VK Advisory International and VK Advisory Ghana. We do have for you today a video presentation on a Bright Simmons' professorial chair in Ghana's corporate governance architecture. So, you're warmly welcome aboard. A few disclaimers. This is in no way legal, technological, or financial advice. Please conduct due diligence. Music rights, Afro Lofi and Groove Blend, courtesy youtube.com. Please note, all copyrighted and trademark items, including the background music, as well as the intellectual property and the articles being used for this video, are the sole property of their respective licensors. For an audio sample in a past session of ours, please visit the URL in your chat. Also, by way of public service announcement, we have our PDA Youth Invest application forms available, intended mainly for junior high school and senior high school students in Ghana in various areas of ICT, entrepreneurship, mentorship, education, among others. Again, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this video are those solely of the authors in the original articles and should not be considered as representative of the views and legal positions of VK Advisory International or VK Advisory Ghana. Credits for the intellectual property belong to brightsimons.com, finddevlab.org. Another urgent disclaimer: the lab is housed at CEPRIMA, a leading French research institute located within the Paris School of Economics, supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And we have no association at VK Law International or VK Law Ghana with the Gates Foundation. So, at the G20 summit in New Delhi, that followed these confabs, the African Union got its wish to be seated alongside the European Union amid calls for reforms in the world of development finance. Because many global commentators tend to view the G20 common framework's slow progress as a result of geopolitical posturing between competing global powers like China and the West, when they talk about governance reform, they often mean changes in the workings of global institutions. On the ground in debtor countries, however, representatives of rich country bilateral creditors in debtor countries only mention governance in relation to improvements in domestic policy management. Yet, domestically, many development experts in Nigeria have pointed out that rampant tax evasion and a fuel subsidy program are the main causes of the country's fiscal deficits, paving the path towards a potential debt default. Credits Edewusi and Ajayi 2019, McCulloch et al. 2021, and Ejedeba 2022. Even more fascinating is the case of the Congo Basin Blue Fund (CBBF), conceived by the Brazzaville Foundation and the Strategic Foresight Group, often lauded as one of the grandest continental climate financing innovations in Africa to date. Credits Payer 2018. 17 African countries have so far signed up to the mechanism, and its intended strategy of leveraging the Congo Basin and the wider Equatorial Green Belt for climate response purposes. Since its unveiling, the USD 6 billion envelope has remained suspiciously empty. Both Bell Pavinga and the ruler of Congo have had frequent run-ins with activists on grave governance matters of corruption and state capture. See Carter 2020 and also Siegel 2018. It is hard to understand why any candid observer would marvel at the failure of CBBF, referred to above, to garner traction when these governance risk factors remain unaddressed. There is a growing demand for a reform of the global development finance architecture, credits Guterres 2023. Western powers are being accused of blocking the United Nations accelerated SDG financing plan, and major capitals from Paris through Tokyo to Berlin are announcing heavy aid cuts. The Prime Minister is also the spokesperson of a group of Global South leaders who have created a blueprint for global development and climate change finance reform called the Bridgetown Initiative. And the Prime Minister referred to here is the Prime Minister of a Caribbean nation. The perceived slowness of global North actors and the institutions controlled by them to act quickly and decisively enough has led to talks of a profound degree of mistrust, and the International Development Finance Order credits Paviotti and Fatima 2023, AFP 2023, and Fitov 2024. With regards to the banking sector cleanup in Ghana, a consistent thread in all the complaints about how hard it has been to trace, locate, and recover assets has been the specter of insider or related party dealings. See yet another extract from the same report below on brightsimmons.com. The terms related and connected parties in this context imply a broad category of actors, including but not limited to insiders, like directors and managers. Definitions can encompass business associates and relatives of key management personnel and board members of a financial institution, entities with common ownership in a holding structure with a said financial institution, and subsidiaries of other affiliates in which significant equity is held. Ghana's insider-triggered bank collapses are a global cause célèbre. Thank you for your attention. Adios.